Reze is a character that some believe does not deserve any sympathy whatsoever because of how brutal and merciless she was as the Bomb Devil, which has led some people to question why Chainsaw Man fans even feel bad for a character as evil as her, especially one who is guilty of murdering hundreds of innocent lives without hesitation. But when you consider that the movie actively attempts to humanize Reze, it really makes you wonder, is Reze such an evil character that she doesn't deserve any sympathy whatsoever, even after meeting a tragic end? To answer this, we must first understand that Reze wasn't born a monster. She was turned into one. Turned into a monster by the Soviet Union, who took her in as an orphan, training and experimenting on Reze, all to make her into the monstrosity known as the Bomb Devil. But some might argue that Reze's tragic past does not excuse her from slaughtering innocent people, which I would definitely agree with. A character's past should not excuse them from being a mass murderer. But here's the catch. Everything that a character experiences in their past is what defines what kind of person they are now. Therefore, can we really say that a character is truly evil, even if the life they have right now is something they weren't able to control? Because that is a very important thing to consider if we were to judge Reze and her morality. We must first understand what turned her into the quote-unquote monster that she is now. Therefore, if we were to recall Reze's backstory from the movie, it was revealed that she was the result of a secret program created by the Soviet Union to turn orphaned children into the perfect soldier. And to meet this goal, they were trained and subjected to cruel experiments as if these children were mere guinea pigs. And this turned Reze into a weapon whose only purpose was to serve her own country. But the twist is that was something that she did not choose for herself. It was an obligation forced upon her, which all meant that Reze never had the chance to choose the life she wanted ever since she was a child. The right to live a normal life was taken away from her. But you also have to understand that an orphan child has no one to help them see the difference between right or wrong, which made it easier for the Soviet Union to program Reze to kill without conscience nor mercy. Because the truth is, how can you expect Reze to have a conscience if it never even existed in her life in the first place? How should we seek morality in a character if it was something they were never even raised with as a child? These humane ideas were intentionally removed from her life to begin with, so that there would be no chance for Reze to have any shred of humanity left, turning her into the perfect monster. And with these factors in mind, Reze's views on human life had been reduced into nothing, hence why it's so easy for her to kill without hesitation. The idea of Reze becoming a weapon meant that she was pretty much programmed to not have any free will whatsoever, but rather absolute obedience to the people she served. But when Reze met Denji, she was able to gain her humanity back, and that identity of hers as the Bomb Devil slowly began to fade away. And there were 3 scenes that proved this, with this one being the first, since it shows how conflicted Reze feels as she becomes increasingly frustrated as to why she's hesitating to kill Denji, even though she had plenty of chances to do so. So why was that? Why was Reze hesitating to go through with her mission? Well, isn't it obvious? It's because she fell in love with the guy. And as Reze spent more time with Denji, the more she began to offer her kindness to him. This scene right here also proved Reze's growing humanity, since she could have easily ripped out Denji's heart if she wanted to, as he was unable to move, but yet she chose not to do that. So the question becomes, why didn't she just take his heart out right then and there? Well, because she lost any reason to do so, since her love for Denji triumphed above any other motivation she might have had to kill him, which explains why Reze only paralyzed Denji and left him on the shore without harming him any further. And even during her final moments, she still contemplated why she didn't kill Denji sooner, and it makes a lot of sense why she didn't, since she finally found someone who she loved. Because for Reze, Denji was the one person that she very much needed her whole life, to revive her emotions and literally everything else that made her a human being. And as Reze began to have all these wonderful moments with Denji, only then did the monster truly become human. And it was to the point that Reze even developed compassion and empathy towards Denji's life and his sufferings. And it was right here during Reze's confession to him that we witnessed this, as she pleaded with Denji to quit his job and run away with her, all while offering to take care of him as long as he lived. But what made this scene so important is because it was never Reze's nature to care about other people's lives until she finally found someone that she valued more than anything in the world. And so when we put all these moments together, we can quite literally say that the Chainsaw Man movie humanized Reze, which is the reason why a lot of people like myself lost it when she was killed. Because by the end of the movie, the audience doesn't see Reze for her sins as the bomb devil. No, what they see is a young girl who deserved the chance to run away with Denji and live that country mouse life she always yearned for. But that was not what happened, even though she was so close to reaching Denji. And you know what? It just doesn't feel right to say that Reze's death was deserved, especially when the whole freaking film dedicates itself to humanizing her as a character. It just betrays the purpose of this film's story and writing. If we were to say, oh, Reze killed thousands of people, oh, Reze is very evil now, she deserves to die, like, what the hell kind of logic would that be? But that doesn't mean the Reze arc is trying to teach people to forgive and accept someone that is considerably evil, but rather it depicts how love, kindness, and compassion can slowly free someone from it. And ladies and gentlemen, that right there is what made Reze a character worth grieving over, why it only made sense to feel bad for her when she was killed right before our eyes. So to answer the question that's been on everyone's mind, did Reze deserve a happier ending? Yeah, she did. But she doesn't just deserve a better ending, I believe she deserved a much better life than the one she had. One where she isn't raised to be a monster, but rather a human who was loved. I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and if you did, consider subscribing, and I'll see you all in the next video. Ciao!